Alright, so we had so much fun with the Sega stuff yesterday. Let's do more Sega. Except for I also wanted to get in a racing game, so let's do some Sega racing games. Oh yeah, and I've got the new, hang on, I've got the new, I didn't put any effort at all into trying to figure out the best way to frame this new recliner. Oh man, this recliner's great. Alright. This has, whoa, that seems a little touchy and weird. Something's flipping on its own there. I'm not quite sure which stick is not working right here, but one of them is not doing great. Okay, arcades. I'm not even using Joy-Cons. That's the worst part of this. Oh, you're flipping up and down too, huh? Either one of you are calibrated correctly, and it's driving me absolutely batshit insane. I don't know what the fucking difference is. Oh yeah, Special has a bunch of weird features that I don't use.
Get ready.
What button is gas? Y is gas. I would have never guessed that. So that's brake. And then that flips gear. Oh, that's not particularly convenient. Is there better? Oh, that can flip gears, so that's better. Okay. Good to know. Yeah. we're gonna be off to a little bit of a rough start here. We'll get it going. Oh, this one only has the 3 original songs though. Maybe I do play Special normally. Oh, this might be 30 hertz too, which is even. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so the way the game normally works, actually, it's if you were to use a frame counter, you'd be like, no, this is 60 hertz, but it's not. It updates the sprite scaling at 30 hertz, and then every other frame, it updates the screen rastering, the road rastering effects, and screen scrolling and such. And in fact, the background scrolling might be 60 hertz. I think it is. So that's just an example of how a game can have multiple frame rate elements together. And there's other Sega racing games that are good examples of this. The background skybox in Daytona, USA on Saturn updates at, I believe, 30 hertz, but the game updates at 20. So there's a lot of stuff like that. This is just kind of a goofy round of the not better. Oops, I've got to get used to the controls for one thing. This is not better version of the game, although it is widescreen still. So you can disable that too if that bothers you for some reason. But and it's really, really well done. They just opened the frame. They didn't mess with anything, and the aspect ratio is perfect, and the field of view is perfect. So this is a rare example of that being done exactly as it should. Well, I blame my failure on the game not being smooth enough, so let's switch over to the special edition version. Also, you probably have to run really easy settings for it to not be frustrating as hell. I don't even have any records on this. Yeah, there's all these cheat features you can toggle on and off, but of course I don't do that because they're cheat features. There's tons of music in this version though. Still gonna start with a magical sound shower and kind of work our way through it.
Get ready.
Oh, so much smoother. Look at that. It's pretty cool. Let's just stay on the left since that's generally the easiest. I think this might be on the Japanese path now. It looks like it is. Yeah, it is. These are not the US layouts I'm used to. Although if you played this on the Genesis, you might have been used to that, which is interesting. Despite being the not just the Mega Drive, but also the US release on Genesis used the older Japanese arcade layout for levels. I don't know why, like what the difference, like why bother remixing the level order, but they did. I have no idea what the logic was though, if there was any whatsoever. We can change that though as well. That's definitely an option. I definitely will after I feel like mixing it up. Fun fact, my stream of Turbo Outrun is my most viewed stream ever, actually. Also, fun fact, I didn't like it very much. And most people don't like it very much, so I don't know why it got so many views, which is odd. YouTube's algorithm is strange. But, yeah, so my criticisms of the game were primarily that even though they tried to simplify some of the options, the game is actually feels more complicated because of frustrating changes to it. It's less interesting because you don't get branching paths. But most of all, the turbo feature, which is like the big feature of the game, just basically makes you completely lose control of the car. Like it's this game running way too fast and it's not fun. And I mean, it's not the worst game I've ever played, but it's just the changes are for the worst to an epically good game. So, and it turns out my criticisms of the game are actually like everyone's. Like those aren't unique. That's what everyone says about it. So there you go. Yeah, this is way hard. I wonder if I've lost a save or what's going on. Did I have it set on or did I set it back on hard and reset my scores on purpose? It seems that score seems way too high up there. So I do not know. I don't know what settings I'm using though, at all. Yeah, it looks like it's all defaults. Huh. Should I make it easy? So we can see more of the game. Or no, we'll just switch versions after a while and then we'll see more of the game anyway. If you play both versions of the game, you're going to see enough of it anyway. Maybe I'll get good at it at some point and we'll make it far. I feel like I always end up cranking it down when I play this game, and then then I get bored with it.
Get ready.
Well, to be fair, maybe it's worth having a challenge. So is the path to the right different also, or is it the same as normal? I think maybe everything's different. Yep, this is different too. This is normally very close to the end. Instead, you'd have the rocky cliffs area, which is actually really hard. A really frustrating crap would be here. A lot of noise out tonight because it's a holiday. And I live in the city. But anyway, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone watching. I could have played something more Christmassy, even in the Sega area. I thought about playing Christmas Nights or whatever. I don't know much about Nights. I'm certainly not any good at it, but I kind of associate classic Sega with Christmas anyway, just because I got a Genesis for Christmas, and Sega have that magic. Much like old Saint Nick. Oh dang, I was getting a little better at it. I don't suppose there's a way to reset high score tables, is there? that if I reset the game now, will it reset the internal game saved high scores too? Because that's what I'd really like to do. Who knows? We'll see.
Get ready.
Am I correct in thinking that Magical Sound Shower is probably most people's favorite song out of the original three? But this is a lot of people's favorite also, and there's a little bit of debate over that. And Passing Breeze is not really anyone's favorite. Am I correct in thinking that, or am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Try staying all the way left this time. We'll try staying all the way right next time, then we'll probably switch it up. Maybe try the new mode instead of old. Which is really what I prefer, just because it's what I remember. You know. The actual arcade. But this isn't totally unfamiliar, and it's also because I did play it on Genesis. I rented it. I thought it was okay, not very good, really. That's kind of the opinion I maintained for a long time, but more recently I've been like, you know, this isn't too bad of a port, really, considering the hardware. It's fairly fun, and the music's still pretty cool. It gets the essence of the game as much as it can, considering what it's got to work with, and I say that in a more complimentary way than something like Galaxy Force 2, which just shouldn't have been done. It's just stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it just sucks. Thunder Force just sucks. Most of them just suck. Space Harrier at least mostly gets the essence, even though it's a new game. But I can't really hate it. It's got great music. It's okay. Afterburner is another good example of like Outrun, where it gets the essence, it gets the job done. It's a fun game still. It's still like a good game with not a lot of competition in the same style of game. Certainly on the hardware. It's a little asking too much, you know, or a lot asking too much to show up visually, but it's the game. But yeah, stuff like Thunderblade and fucking Galaxy Force is just not worth playing. Hang On, however, it's great. Pretty good. Super Hang On. So yeah, it just depends. It depends on the game. Some of the ports are just better than others. Yes, that did reset the high scores. Excellent. Well, that's fun. That's going to improve the quality of the stream here. We probably have to do the same kind of thing with Virtua Racing, because it's... I mean, I don't know. With Virtua Racing, I might just ignore it, because I changed the settings on it a lot for reasons. It's fun to do the extended races, and we might check that out tonight. I don't know. What time is it? It's like 10 already? 10:30. Jeez. I'll probably... So we're only 20 minutes into it. Started this one late, didn't I? I'll probably wrap it up a little after midnight, so who knows how much we'll see of this, but... A lot of these songs are from like other games. I have no idea what this one's from. Is this from like Eastwad or something? Some of them are from like Hang On and stuff, pretty obviously. At least they're like stylistically consistent. They're like, I think they're all System 16 tracks, if I remember correctly. System 16, System 18, same hardware, same Yamaha sound hardware, so they all sound the same.
Get ready.
None of it sounds wildly out of place. It's a shame that neither of these games have analog gas and brake, because the Switch doesn't have analog triggers. But to be fair, I don't think Outrun does in the arcade version. I think Outrun's gas and brake are digital. I think you kind of have to tap them to really like get the best out of the control. Oh damn, that was awful. Also very fair to use gas and brake together in this game, and that's often a thing here. Barely survived that shit. God, this redneck roadblock of absolute jackass citizens blocking me in pretty much screwed me over. This is the normal, just second area on the right, and it's a very hard area. Very hard section. Man, they're rough after a wreck, because I was doing well otherwise, but just scraping by now, not likely to make it to the next area. Might want to jump off here a little bit before I go to bed, just so I can start on a Diablo 3 character on this Switch, because that's probably what I'll do tomorrow while I'm digesting my Christmas meal. We're gonna watch some basketball and eat a bunch of food. That's pretty much the plans. Gotta have something to do during those timeout break stretches. Shit, see, I knew I wouldn't make it to the next one. That's a bitch. I will do better going left. This is the last track, by the way. I don't think there's any other music. Maybe I'll have to search the other direction to make sure. Yeah, I haven't played D3 in so long. I have a good stream of me playing it, but playing it on hardcore even, which I wouldn't attempt now. Shit. I'm playing a lot of D4 though. Just kind of struggling this season, kind of stuck in a Torment 2 game. I mean, I unlocked Torment 3, but I can't really move into it yet. It's taking forever. It's a very slow grind. Playing as a, or maybe I'm expecting too much, I don't know. Playing as a sorcerer, which also I think is a challenging class to solo. So, trying to give myself some credit. I was blowing that game out last season though. I made like 3 characters that I got to Torment 4 solidly into it. I was decked with like, you know, multiple ancestrals and shit. Just really badass characters. I mean, I think my character's good this time, just, you know, not as good. I don't know how I ended up holding down the brake there, but I guess I did. Like, to the point of completely losing all momentum. I'm sure it screwed me. It looks like it did. Alright, let's switch over to the tried and true US variation of the game. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 3 other tracks this way. I did miss some. Nice.
Get ready.
Checkpoint.
Things clearly went very, very poorly. Man, that's hard. And what kind of crap do we have here? Okay, so same deal here where I've got to reset all the scores. And here we go. Who's in line?
Get ready.
So one thing that this doesn't have that you could say is better about the Sega Ages version is that it has enhanced versions of the original 3 songs. Only if you're playing the Japanese one. The US version chops that, so the US version has no advantages, in my opinion. It's just a slightly worse way of playing this. They really have the same features. The best being the 60 FPS enhancement, which both games have. You do have to put in a code to do that on the Saturn, but it's really something simple. It's like not anything really. It's just like hold down on a couple buttons when you start the game, or something stupid like that. But yeah, I think this is a case though where M2 delivered the goods on making the best version of both of the games we're playing. I think Virtua Racing is undoubtedly the best version, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But this is too. I think that Saturn has that one little advantage that some people really, really like those remastered tracks. But if you prefer the original arcade audio, then really there's no advantage there. And this has a whole lot of extra, very similar to the arcade audio from other System 16 games. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's really cool. And I think people who disagree are objectively wrong. Your opinion's wrong, and you should feel bad about it. Also, I will say the biggest complaint everyone had about the Switch version of Virtua Racing, and we'll talk about this too, I just when we get to it, but was the color was way off and the gamma was wrong. But they put in a way that, like, they put in a slider. It's kind of it's a bit of a code to access, but I mean, it's like, again, it's like holding down on a button at a certain time or whatever. But you can fix it with a slider and it saves it. And the game looks beautiful now. So none of that complaint exists anymore. I wish it had anti-aliasing, but it doesn't. But none of it does any other version of the game, right? So. Man, I wish Star Fox would get the treatment from Nintendo that Virtua Racing got from M2 and Sega. That would be so wonderful to play a version of Star Fox that looks and plays like that. It's just like, has all the draw distance, it's 60 FPS, it's perfectly smooth, has analog controls, but otherwise it's just the original Star Fox. Like, I feel like that could be done somehow, but it's 2025 and we still don't have it, so who knows. After playing both versions of this, I have less questions about why they changed the order. The US layout's just flat out harder. You get harder stages earlier that makes the game a lot harder to get anywhere going on because you're already got a deficit on time. I made it way further that time though. I almost made it to the end. But, like, I think that's the deal though. I really do think that the US layout's harder and they probably just wanted to make it to where operators get more money. It's all about the money. Did I already do this last song?
Get ready.
Maybe I did. It's the holidays, so I hope you guys are ready to watch me rot in this new recliner that I got here. I'll play a Borderlands game again. Spend a whole week doing it again. The thing that's got to be done. An important part of life, playing through a Borderlands game. It'll be, so we did 1, we did 2. You know what's next. That's right. The pre-sequel. If you thought I was going to say 3, you got ahead of yourself. We'll get to 3 and 4 though. And if you think it goes from 3 to 4, you're also getting ahead of yourself. The truck cost me the whole thing? I think it did. Yeah. You bastard. Do one more to grow on. One more with the old magical sound shower.
Get ready.
Anyway, this is the whole reason we use magical sound showers. It eventually gets to this steel drum freak out, which everybody loves. All right. Time to take a little break here. When I get back, we'll do some Virtua Racing. But anyway, thanks for watching Outrun, Sega Ages version for Nintendo Switch. And we're going to switch it over to Virtua Racing in just a second when I get back. Thanks for watching. Alright, I'm back. So, we're gonna switch this over. Hang on just a second. Oh, sorry, I thought I had my webcam on. Oh, I do, but static is overlaid over the webcam. What is this nonsense? It needs to be way down on the list, doesn't it? Alright. Anyway, I barely know what I'm doing here. Give me a second. Alright. There's a good chance I have these set up for marathon races. There's a good chance I'll want to do marathon races, but not first. Not first thing. So let's see what our settings are. Oh no, we have it on normal. Red. English. This is all looking good. Gas. Okay, yeah. Brake. Okay. A is gas. Oh no, these aren't defaults. This is insane. Hang on. Okay, so that's starting camera. B and Y are shift up and down. Annex. Annex or gas. Okay. Oh no. Oh, these are the defaults? These are the defaults. I'm actually surprised. This doesn't seem like defaults. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, I had to look at it for a second, because I may do manual too, I don't know. Although it's like 7 speed and super frustrating. So, who knows on that?
Select course by wheel and step on gas pedal.
There's lots of views. This slightly zoomed out one is usually what I do best from, but this is a lot of fun to play from this way. And it looks good. Man, this looks good either way. Yeah. So, I don't know how common of a game Outrun was. It might have been really expensive, but it was really popular too. So, I saw it in a couple of places, but I never saw a deluxe cabinet of it. I don't think. I feel like maybe I did see one once. The two that I normally played on were both uprights. Virtua Racing, I'd never seen an upright of. I don't know if that even exists. But man, I saw that game all the time. It was super freaking common. Every place had it. Apparently, it was one of the cheapest arcade games you could buy after it became an old game, because it was just everywhere and I couldn't dump them. and they're very large, and didn't convert to other games really. So there's other Model 1 games, but they aren't racing games, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to switch out the whole control panel and everything. Daytona USA was probably kind of the same way because it was super common too, maybe even more common than Virtua Racing. But it probably has a little more value because it, there are other Model 2 racing games that can be converted without switching all the hardware, I'm pretty sure. Controls are touchy, but that's an issue I have with the PS2 version of the game as well. Oh yeah, I played every version of Virtua Racing. I have strong opinions about all of them. I played a lot of them a lot. It's always been a favorite game of mine. Just a game that I truly love. I kind of have a lot more connection with it than I do with Daytona USA, especially having not owned a Saturn and stuff. The Genesis game is a technological miracle, and it plays really well, and it's probably the best straight racing game of its generation. Just barely beating out F-Zero, in my opinion, as for just a straightforward racing game. I don't count Mario Kart because that's a combat racing game. I feel like that's an entirely different genre. But as far as straightforward racing games go, Virtua Racing was amazing on the Genesis. It was also expensive. It came out at the very end of its life and was almost released around the same time as the 32X version for the next generation enhancement for the Genesis. And that one, of course, blew it away in terms of it had slightly better frame rate, much better polygons in terms of keeping more of the geometry from the arcade game intact. Gets rid of the dithering. Just overall a better experience. Also added some extra tracks, which we've never seen in anything ever again. What else did I say about that? Oh, yay. How fun. We get to accept some terms and conditions. I feel like this is such a public way to do this. I'll read them online later. I'm sure if there was like a human sent iPad policy, I would have been already made aware, right? No. How about not? Good. Yeah, I dropped my Nintendo subscription. I don't have any need for that. I don't play Switch games online, or very much at all, really. But there's some really cool, unique stuff on the Switch, and I'm glad I have one. And I'm gonna collect more games for it because you can buy physical games for it. So, but it's not something I really need to take online anymore or ever. I use my PS5 almost entirely for online gaming, and then I use the PC for backwards compatible retro gaming, everything. and the Switch for everything else. Like I think that's it gives me a really good combo of being able to play just about anything, really. Maybe there's certain high-end PC stuff that I'm missing out on, but that's mostly from genres of games that I don't play, so I don't care that much. Alright, we're going to do the medium track, which I think I often find more challenging than expert, so I'll get my ass kicked here. Also interesting about the medium track is it's the only one of the three that doesn't have a pit, which doesn't matter during normal gameplay, but becomes a huge issue if we do the marathon modes. Shit. So yeah, continuing down the line, the 32X version, I still don't know if I like it better than the Genesis one because the controls are maybe, I'm not a huge fan of the way they adapted it to digital in that game. Which kind of brings me to the Saturn version, which people shit all over, and I never played it until I got a Saturn, and it was developed by Time Warner, so they outsourced its development. And it is weird, and it has tons of extra content of varying quality. There's a bunch of extra tracks, and they're mostly pretty cool. The adaptation of the arcade game itself, though, I think it controls great, for one thing. And it does have more like polygon detail than the 32X version does, by quite a bit actually, even. But I think maybe its draw distance is worse or something. It's like one of these things where it's good in one way, but it's like weird and off in some other way. Like a lot of it seems off. Like the shadow under the car seems off. Like a lot of it just seems strange somehow. Like they were trying to recreate it without the code, which I'm sure they very likely were. But it's not bad. I mean, it's like still kind of better than the 32X one, maybe. It's pretty debatable. So we still didn't have anything close to like arcade perfect. And there are almost nothing that I would describe as an arcade perfect release of the game. Like there's 3 versions that are definitely worse and 2 that are arguably better. One that's arguably better and one that's inarguably better, I'd say, which is this one. So it's kind of a complicated thing. So going down from there, you got, after the Saturn one, we got a PS2 Sega Ages release, Virtua Racing Flat Out, which I have the US release of. It's included in Sega Arcade Classics, which is a bunch of Sega Ages Japanese releases bundled together, most of which are shitty, to be honest. Some of which are embarrassingly bad, like Golden Axe. Like, that should never be played by anyone under any circumstances. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, and I hate it so much. I hate it so much, in fact, that I sold that. Then I remembered that Virtua Racing was on there, and it was the best version, and I bought it back. So the Virtua Racing that's on there is pretty good. It's 60 FPS, smoother than the arcade game, which is like, I think the arcade game is like 40 FPS or something real weird. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think it's a weird medium-ish frame rate. A weird medium-ish resolution too. So the PS2 version was a little sharper, running in full 480. It may have had some sort of anti-aliasing on it. It looked odd. They applied this weird reflection effect to the car, which I didn't care for. But everything else looked pretty normal and pretty much like the arcade game. It had like weather and time of day effects, but basically all they did was make the game look gray and were stupid. So I didn't like that part of it. And it did have some extra original tracks, which again are lost to time. So notice that's a recurring theme. But yeah, I'm pretty fond of that version, but still falls short of this.
Select course by wheel and
This
step
one
on down.
like lets you play like 8-player split screen or something too, and I think it still runs at 60 frames per second because it's insane. I don't know that it has infinite draw distance that way, but I mean, the screen's getting pretty small at some point. As far as playing the arcade version itself, your choices are basically this. You can either play MAME, or like, I think there's like one licensed MAME product that includes Virtua Racing, and it's like a Sega arcade, one of those mini arcade cabinets, and it only came out in Japan. It came out sometime, I don't know, during the pandemic, whenever all those mini arcade cabinets started coming out. Um, and I don't know if, oh, and you have to play it with an arcade stick if you do that, which is just absolutely, if you want to play it on a tiny screen and with a shitty arcade stick, though, like, there's an option for you. I would say, I don't know. I mean, it's not worth buying a Switch over Virtua Racing, even if you're a huge fan, probably. But if you own a Switch and you're even sort of a fan of Virtua Racing, it's crazy not to get this one. It's just too bad we don't get to see any of the old or new extra content, but at the end of the day, all I really want is the main game, so I don't know. Shit. Yeah, well, my dream is to see the original Star Fox redone exactly like this. High resolution, 1080 or better, 60 FPS, infinite draw distance, ideally like 4K and or anti-aliasing, analog control, everything else exactly the same. Oh, and dithering replaced with like flat shading probably, and then everything else exactly the same as it was. Same animation, same enemy placement, game rules, combat, all that shit. That would be heaven. But anyway, I'll probably play the original Star Fox, and maybe even its sequel for the Super Nintendo at some point here. And then, yeah, and then of course the Nintendo 64 game, which is the it's definitely my favorite one, but I'm not a huge fan of the open flying parts. I'm so bad at them. Maybe we should try more open flying games and flight combat simulators and stuff, even though I'm bad at them. And there's some good stuff out there, and maybe if I just give it a shot, I could pick it up. Like Ace Combat or something. What do we have on this? Let's just jump right in. I feel like I just want to jump right into doing marathon modes. What does Y do? Oh, helper. That sounds stupid. Who needs a helper? Grand Prix 20. Yeah, I love this. So, let's start with the beginner Grand P. Grand P. Grand PP. I wonder how many laps it is. Oh, it's 20, right? Is that what they said? That might have been 20 for expert. It was probably like 30 or 40 for this one. It's probably something stupid that we won't actually finish. Who knows? I don't know though. They still give you a time limit and stuff. I'll probably lose before. It's hard to say. Alright, 2 laps down. An absolutely stupid number to go. Here we go. Yikes. Alright, bit of a setback here. We'll get in there. We'll get in there. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's only 20 laps because I might just straight up pass out here. My times, they are not getting better. That wasn't good. This has definitely been my worst lap. I do wonder if I'm gonna have to pit. That's 2 more seconds on the old time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to pit. I'm gonna go one more lap after this one to see if it cleans up a little bit. But if I continue this downward trajectory of losing seconds, I'm gonna have to get in there. I don't know if there's tire wear, because I thought it was just for damage, but maybe there's tire wear. I seem like I'm driving like shit now. Yeah, there's definitely tire wear. Never mind, I've got a pit. No question about it. It actually feels like shit. I'm only in second now. It's probably worth it in the long run. Well, I guess the computer never has to pit. Is that the way that works? Good job, Sega. I think we found the actual first place guy here. It seems pretty obvious. Impacts don't go well in this game, particularly for the player, so I really wanted to avoid that. Oh shit. It's a little sloppy, but we're still doing it to it. Pretty sure this is where I lose like all of my tread in those last 3 turns here. Yeah, I did it. So it is only 20 laps. Only 20 laps. And it is funny how much a little bit of loss of grip there can affect everything. So too bad you can't. There's no means of pitting on the medium track. We'll look at that in just a second. Whew. Those are long enough to where I need a break between them. I'd like to do all 3 though before I wrap this up. If I can stay awake enough. We'll see. I'm already struggling, I can tell. We'll see. Give me just a second here. See if I can get my brain going again. This is almost a perfect remaster. There's very little I would do different. I think the only thing I would change on it is either, I mean, if it could be 4K or have any aliasing, then it would truly look as clean as it should, but it's really close anyway. And then the other thing would maybe be, there's still some stipple, like on the shadows and stuff. They went with a high-res stipple, which looks pretty close to, in this resolution, looks pretty close to real transparency, but hey, why not just real transparency? Just for that. Just that stuff. But, yeah, that's about it, really. Otherwise, visually and everything, this is exactly what you want. And it only took, what, 27 years to come home. But yeah, this is firmly into blows the arcade game out of the water territory anyway, without feeling like some different or changed game. I have weird feelings about upscaling on certain stuff, and I think it's okay and can be used well in certain ways. I'm actually might do like some PlayStation stuff upscaled and stuff too, because that's normally a no-go. PS1 stuff typically looks really bad upscaled, but you can correct the geometry with Duck Station, Swan Station, and maybe even Beetle PSX. Like, there's a lot of modern solutions to these old problems that actually can make the games look nice and sharp and like they're running on like as if they were an old PC game or something running on fairly modern hardware instead of like, you know, texture warping mess like they originally were. But generally, I think I am going to stream the texture warping mess. Generally, I'm going to show you games how they were on that format, but I mean, there's definitely exceptions. So it's all about having fun at the end of the day, I think. But like, to me, the authenticity, to some degree, is part of the fun on some things. It really depends. I think what's really made me a believer is seeing certain things on PS2 and stuff upscaled, like, man, Soul Calibur 3 in high resolution is such a beautiful game. Like, it really does just look like a modern video game and should be re-released. There's a few games like that where if you play it in like a higher resolution, like, damn, this just still looks really good. Oh! See, I really messed my shit up. I won't be around long now. That went pretty well after the wreck. Still put up a decent time. Oh, you piece of shit. Come on. Really struggling with that turn now. That's what I needed. Another solid wreck. Let's make sure I definitely can't recover. That's still pretty good time though. About as good as any. Man, despite that guy cheesing me up there for a long time, I still did pretty okay. Shit, we really got in trouble there. The kind of trouble I'm not going to be able to recover from. Traction's gone. Car feels real bad to drive now. Everything's shot. So it looks like I'm gonna reach the end. I'm not gonna, get anything other than fourth probably, no matter what. I think I'm gonna reach the finish line here, but just barely. And I did just lose fourth place to drop to fifth. So who knows? Maybe not. Maybe it won't even make the finish line. Wait, is this 19? Yeah, never mind. There's only 2 laps left. I'm sure it will. Yeah, sure is a pretty big word. My time is very low. My car handles like actual dog shit. That's not good. We were 2 seconds when we crossed the line there. It's iffy whether or not I'll finish. I coasted that one at 0. Not quite. That's a fairly decent run for me. Man, that's hard. So you can imagine how experts are going to go. Not great. But I'll be back with it here in just a second. And we can watch that kick my ass. And that'll be the last one for the stream. This has been a lot of fun. I love these games. I think they've both been a great value to pick up. They're fun to play handheld too. It's great to have some little bit of Virtua Racing or Outrun anytime. So I'll be back and we'll do the expert track, and then I will pass out. Hopefully after and not during that race. Thanks for watching. the screen dimmer had kicked on. Alright, here we go. That's not gunshots in the background, just so you're aware. It's a holiday and people are doing fireworks and shit. It's probably midnight now, right? It's probably just hit midnight. Gotta do the fireworks so Santa Claus knows where you live. We do it a little different around here. Not just fireworks on 4th of July and New Year's, but also on Christmas and like Halloween and Valentine's Day and Arbor Day and shit. Every fucking day. Also, sometimes it's gunshots. So there's that. I really fucked that up. There we go. Everybody around here always remembers to set off their fireworks for. I'm glad they still have some left after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Whatever the last thing we celebrated with fireworks. My dogs have PTSD. I think they live in a war zone. Which again, it only sometimes is. Ah, shit. That was terrible. I think my problem is I need to start using the brake. There's probably several like braking related scenarios in this particular track that I'm not doing right. And that really shits all over everything right there. We'll absolutely have to pit after this. I have no grip. It's ass. Actually, it's ass. Slick turn there, though. Let's go ahead and pit. Damn. It's gonna be rough. .53 best lap, nice. So yeah, at least the practice of running the lap plus the pitting to get the car back in shape paid off, huh? I mean, not enough to make up for the extra 15 seconds it took that time or whatever, you know. We'll see. I think in the long run it's the only viable strategy. Which makes medium seem so much harder than expert to me in a way. I mean, not that I expect to finish this and do well, but in fact I'm doing worse. I don't know. It's just the way it is. 52, that's definitely the best one yet. 56 though, not so great, so we just had some sloppiness that round. The sloppiness is back. I feel like I could post all 52s to the rest of it though and still never see 4th place. I don't know where the hell they are. Something stupid. That part's way harder when you have more grip, which sucks. And that's gonna steal all my time from this run. I probably only have another lap or two before I'm out of time. Alright, well, that's as far as I was going to be able to go on that. Really fun, though. Virtua Racing is a true classic. Both games are, and they both hold up. As simple of a game as Outrun is, it's still really fun to play. And Virtua Racing is just excellent. So, but I've got to wrap it up there. Excuse me. Got to get to bed before I wouldn't want to be up too late and scare off Santa Claus. So, anyway, a Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Thank you for watching, and more to come.